a communication breakdown can mean only one thing: invasion. I've decided to go on a journey. Aldous Sandflys is leaving port. 100 million GP, 200 million GP, 300 million GP, and so on. Hey guys, we got a weird video today. We have a story to tell you. Now, as I travel around the community, as I experience different sort of vibes, different guilds, different people, I was expecting at some point to come up to some weird stories or negative stories or things that we can all learn for or understand as a team. But I never expected to come out so early in my journey. And, you know, anyway, let me tell you. About when we were doing the TW, the record at TW was 11-1 or something like that. You know, like, and it never dawned on me the time until now when I'm kind of like, 11-1? You mean we didn't exist 3 months ago? And they didn't. This guild was only started 3 months ago. And now I'm going to tell you the story about why, how, and maybe what we can learn from it, or what Aldy's concerned about going forward maybe in the game, or something we can learn as a community, and something we need to kind of talk about. About 3 months ago, they were reached out to by a and that person said, right, I have an alt, and I'm going to bring my alt and a few other accounts into your guild. And at that point, this guild was struggling for people, or the precursor to this guild was struggling for people. So they thought, well, okay, we're going to get somebody on board who can help us, somebody who can maybe help promote us, or we can get a little bit more traction. Certainly, we're going to get 3 or 4 good accounts. However, that person did that only on the proviso that they were made leader, because they wanted to be the leader of the guild. And therefore, I guess probably in their head, they were thinking figurehead. They were thinking kind of, you know, they want to be in charge. So weirdly enough, they were made leader. Within 1 week, a disagreement had occurred. A disagreement over strategy going forward, a disagreement over how the guild should be run, how... Specifically, I understand around recruitment. The person who had taken over as leader had wanted to put a minimum level on recruitment of the guild. And a lot of people didn't want that. That wasn't wanted by the officers, and therefore there was just a big argument. There was a power struggle. And the next bit is quite unbelievable. The new leader decided to, all of a sudden, just at the end of the TW, I understand, TWD1, got rid of all the officers and disbanded the guild. Just deleted it. So all of a sudden, people woke up who used to be in this guild. They woke up the next day and there was just no guild. Like, nothing. And in a weird world, luckily, and this is where people like Discord communities, and this is where communities are good. So they were then able to use Discord and all the connection in Discord to say to people, look, join this new guild. We're all there, except that person who obviously had just joined. They sort of undid the merger. But it meant that the guild they set up was brand new. And that's why the guild I'm in is only 3 months old. It's an odd story. And every story has 2 sides to it. But the fact is, somebody deleted a guild, and I think it's a learning for everyone. I think that be careful who your leader is. Now, your leader doesn't need to be your leader on Discord. It doesn't need to be the highest account. In fact, the higher your GP you are doesn't make you a better officer or a better person or a more stable person, should we say. The leader should be the most stable balanced person you have in the guild. It should be somebody who has been there for a very, very long time, because unfortunately in this game, the person who is the leader or who has that tag in the game, that person has maybe too much power. And it's something probably I would say that you need to be careful of, and maybe CG needs to look at, you know, should a leader be able to just suddenly disband a guild? It happened to Aldy actually 6-7 years ago. I remember telling you once on a podcast, I woke up one day and every single officer had left the guild, and the guild was only just non-officers, and everybody was like, the guild still existed, didn't delete the guild existed, it just didn't, you couldn't, the leader wasn't there, so you couldn't invite anyone in, or you couldn't promote anyone, nothing could happen. So eventually, obviously, everybody had to leave. But we all sort of woke up and we were like, what the hell is going on in this guild? Anyway, let's talk about mergers. Mergers are a difficult thing. I think we should probably get rid of them as a community. I think merger is the wrong term, because unfortunately, when a merger occurs, there is only one leader. And that leader, like I say, has too much power. So I think really as a community, we've got to kind of stop thinking there is no such thing as a merger, you know? It is a takeover. It is a one person will be in charge. So I think when you're looking to go into something, I think every guild should probably look to itself and sort of, I don't know, start to create its own ethical boundaries, or what it's looking to achieve, or a set of rules that lay out how that guild should be run, or how that guild wants to be run. If it wants to take in a lot of feeder accounts at lower GPs and help them grow and expand, and I'm going to talk about, because that's done very, very well in this guild, so I'll talk about it in the next episode. I think mergers is probably, like I say, mergers probably shouldn't exist. I think if you are coming to the end of your guild, or you're struggling to recruit, you know, by all means reach out to another guild, but realize that whoever is the leader is actually in charge, and that person could just delete your guild immediately. So really, really be careful. I think anyone that's looking to join a guild, I would say always find a guild with a Discord. In this case, because they had such a strong Discord community, they were able to rebuild with almost the same people. They didn't lose touch. You know, imagine if they had not had that strong Discord, they simply would have lost touch with every single person that wasn't in their ally list. They would have had to try and DM people in game. I mean, it would be almost impossible. So always look for a guild that has a strong Discord, a strong community. I think also I would advocate join the guild, join the Discord a week before you join the guild. You know, spend, if you have the luxury of time, you've not decided to move yet, join the Discord, read their messages, find out what the vibe's about. If they allow you, find out what the vibe's about, find out what you are interested in. Does the way they run the guild, does the balance of power look the way you want it, or do they align with what your goals are? And yeah, look for a good group of people. We'll talk a little bit more, like I say, when we start kind of really promoting the guild in the next video. But I think, yeah, it's a weird video and it's a weird story, but I think we can all kind of learn, or all these kind of learning. The two things I take away is that, one, I'm so glad that in the Death Star Port Designers, they have such a balanced leader, and such a balanced leader that's been there for such a long time, who is very, very balanced, very ethical, very kind of solid, you know. And I think that's the kind of person you want in a leader. You don't want somebody who is rage quitting. Never put Aldy in charge of your leadership. Aldy will delete your guild probably within the first day, due to him having a breakdown. So I'm not saying I would make a good leader. In fact, I would make the worst leader possible. I'd also say, if anyone ever approaches you saying, let's merge, but I want to be the leader, I think just walk away. Walk away. Don't ever transfer the leadership to somebody else. By all means, just go, yeah, okay, sure, we'll make you an officer. But never make somebody else the leader. There's too much power in the leadership. And I think the word merge, I think we should stop. I don't know anyone who's actually successfully merged. It was always a takeover. Somebody ends up in charge, and that one person ends up running it. And if you're not aligned with them, or if there hasn't been a proper discussion, or if there isn't framework in place to prevent that person, then, you know, you end up in a real mess. So yeah, that's the update on what I've learned about mergers. I think it's going to be something that's going to be harder and harder. One thing I'm very concerned about is there are people leaving this game. There is a lot of people leaving this game. And how do you funnel those new people up and in? You know, CG recently obviously changed the starter characters you get. So they're focused on how do you get to level 85 faster? How do you get ships faster? How do you progress faster? But they're not really doing anything to bridge the gap of, well, you then, when you get to level 85, you need to be in a good guild like this guild that I'm in now, or the Death Star bot. You need to be in a guild that has a good question and answer section. You need to be in a guild that will help you. You know, it's not a game that really explains in the game exactly how to do things. So yeah, so that's today's update. I hope it was interesting. I hope it makes sense. Think about your own journey. Think about the mergers that you've gone through. Think about, you know, things that have gone wrong in your world. And I'll see you in part B, probably pretty soon. Look after yourself. Have good days. Enjoy your swiggle. All this out.